Today, I was at the Cyber Risk Alliance, the official cybersecurity summit in Tampa, Florida. Great event today, local regional event that they host. Lots of cybersecurity people there, all on stage. JD Miller did a great job of hosting. Really, really great event. It's great to go to these regional events and kind of feel the locals there. I had 4 great conversations today. Mark Hardy, great conversation with Mark, fellow podcaster, former military person, has a great podcast now, talks about security. Mike Sears. Mike came up to me with this really, really, really novel security invention, I'm going to call it. Just a new, unique way of looking at security. Really enjoyed my conversation with Mike. I look forward to talking more with Mike. Linton Harris, he's a manager of a SOC, Security Operations Center. What goes on in a SOC? Have you ever been to one? He manages one that's 3 shifts and what happens. It's a fascinating conversation with Linton. And finally with JD Miller himself, Senior Vice President there at Cyber Risk Alliance, former sportscaster, just a really, really great host all day. The energy was way up to the very end where they were raffling. I mean, really great energy from JD. We talk a lot about the event itself, and he's a golfer, and about sports, and about a few other things we talked about. It was a great conversation. I look forward to working with JD in the future. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because I was working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word, discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission, how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision, growth through learning from others.
Podcast going back to 2008.
Wow. All right, we'll get nice and close here because all the noise. Yeah. What's your favorite club in the bag?
Ooh, great question. Probably right now, probably my hybrid.
Hybrid?
Because I can crank that thing about 200. My driver is hit and miss. Sometimes it's 320, sometimes I'm at 250.
In this fast-paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection powered by Forza Dash. More than 75,000 MSPs subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading Forza MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the Forza platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow.
But it's got to be that hybrid.
It's so forgiving, that hybrid.
Oh my gosh. No matter what, I'm going to hit that straight, no matter how bad my day's going.
Even if it's a little towy.
Yep.
It's the sweet spot on it. Yeah. It's one of my favorites, too. I've got more than one, actually, come to think about it. Yeah, it is fun. But you're in Chicago. You're in...
I'm in Chicago. I live in Wrigleyville. And, it's interesting because it's so snowy. I set up a hitting net in my garage. I've got heaters when it's 35 below, so I can still hit. My father-in-law is a USGA teaching professional and a custom club fitter. Whoa. Listen, this guy is 76, 75, and he's around a 0 to a 1 handicap still. I beat him once.
Wow.
It was right after he had a heart attack.
Net?
I tell you what, he is one of these guys that's just sneaky good. one of those guys that hits it, he's not going to drive it too far, like 250.
Right.
But it's straight down. And then his next shot, he's putting it within a nice putt, and he's putting it in. I think last year he had 3 hole-in-ones.
Wow.
I'm still searching for my first one.
I get people asking me, can you help me out on something? Look, go to the teaching pro. This is what I'm going to say.
Yep.
Pick a target and hit it. But I only know what I do wrong, and that's barely me, right? I mean, these people are really good at it.
They're so good. And he's made me, I think, 5 sets of clubs now.
Wow.
I play college football, and I've had a dozen surgeries, I swear.
Really?
I've had all 4 limbs reconstructed.
Whoa.
Every time I have a surgery, I play golf with him, and he's like, your swing's changed. Let me make you another set. Your swing's changed. And he's spot on with every one of them. I'm guessing I'd have at least 10, 15 more strokes on my game if it wasn't for him.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
What position in football did you play?
I was a linebacker for most of my career in high school and college. My last really 2 seasons in college, I ran a really fast 40, and they put me in strong safety. Yeah.
Whoa.
Ran a 4.5 40, and they're like, whoa, you're a big guy, fast, we're going to put you in strong safety. And it was great, though. It got me invited to the NFL Combine and all that.
Did it really?
I didn't go.
Oh,
I didn't go.
You didn't go.
No, I was a realist.
Yeah.
Like, they're looking at paper. They're not really looking at that.
Wow.
Plus, at that time, I was already a sports anchor for a Fox station.
That's right,
so.
you're a sports anchor at that time.
Yeah.
They say basketball players and deep safeties don't get hamstring pulls often. They still do.
Yeah.
And you know the reason why? They run backwards.
Yep.
Because it stretches the other way.
Yep.
Very interesting. And tell me about being a sports anchor.
Yeah. So I started out at a Fox station. I think we were market 83 at the time. I was still in college. It was like May, April, when I got the gig. So I was traveling on the weekends to the station, anchoring the weekend sports.
Oh.
And then going back, finishing college. Was there for a little bit, then worked at a CBS station for most of my career in the Rochester, Austin, Albert Lee, Mason City market.
Over there, yeah.
And I think I figured out it was close to 3,000 evening news broadcasts.
Wow.
In my career, and then finished my career at NBC before I decided, you know what I want to do? I want to go make money.
Yeah.
So I left broadcasting.
Now, why don't broadcasters make money? You would think they would, but they don't.
They don't. Until you're at those top 10 stations, you're not going to make a ton of money. Plus, it was a unique situation where my wife at the time was a morning and noon anchor at that station.
Oh, wow.
I did the evening sports. So we never saw each other. That's probably why it lasted as long as it did.
Right.
But yeah, I wanted to have more time at home and that type of thing. So plus I got to golf more when I left broadcasting.
When you got there, yeah. What should they know about anchoring a television station? What should people know? What are some of the myths?
So it's not just that, doing sports, I had 3.5 minutes at 5, 6, and 10, right? It is more than that. I'm going in at 11 o'clock noon, covering in the field. Sometimes I one-man banded it, which means I was doing the reporting and the videography. I'd leave at about midnight, 1 in the morning.
Really?
And it was 7 days a week because when I was the main sports anchor and sports director, a lot of stuff's happening on the weekends. So on Saturdays, I was covering University of Iowa, football, basketball, what have you. Sundays, I'm covering the Vikings. I'm covering the Timberwolves, the Twins, the Wild. So you were always on. And I at one point, I did, I think it was 63 straight broadcasts.
Whoa. Days in a row.
Do anchoring at 5, 6, and 10.
Wow.
Or the weekends, it was just 6 and 10. But it was a lot. But it was fun. And listen, being able to do what I'm doing now.
Right.
I get to be on a mic. I get to have a camera.
Natural.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. You got to meet athletes in ownership?
Yes. Yeah. I got to meet every single athlete I ever wanted to meet.
Around what year, decade?
That was in the 90s. 90s, early 2000s. So I interviewed Michael Jordan. I interviewed Tiger Woods at his second pro event ever.
Whoa.
And this is where my sports predictions went horribly wrong. because I was like, this kid's not going to amount to anything.
You said that to Tiger Woods.
I didn't say to him.
Yeah.
I said this about Eldrick Woods, right? And so I'm like, this guy's not going to do anything. I was completely wrong.
Wow.
But I was like, oh, this arrogant kid. He was a kid. I was wrong in that, but I got to, I covered the Vikings in the 90s where Randy Moss was a rookie in that 98 season where they should have gone to the Super Bowl. I was standing underneath the goalpost when Gary Anderson missed the kick after being perfect all season long.
Wow.
Now, you got to keep in mind, in Minnesota at this time, it was probably about 15 below zero outside. And all I'm thinking is, he makes this kick, I'm going to Miami for 2 weeks to cover the Super Bowl. Misses it. I got to stay in those negative 15-degree temps.
Wow. Any sports that are better or fun, more fun to cover than others?
I would say, being a football guy, I love covering football.
Right.
And the action of football. People don't realize how fast that NFL game truly is until you're on the field.
Right.
And having played college football myself, seeing that next level, oh my goodness! Like, everybody's fast, everybody's big. To me, that was the best. I love covering college basketball. I got to cover some great runs in college basketball. I kind of wish I would have been able to cover as much women's college basketball at that time, because looking at those teams I covered, how great would it have been to cover Caitlin Clark's career at Iowa. Audrey at Iowa State right now is so dominant.
Yeah.
But those were the two that were the most fun. There's some that were very frustrating to cover.
Well, like,
golf is very frustrating.
Because it's so spread out.
Right. You're at the tee box and you get the shot at the tee.
Right.
You're not really following them. I also covered the Olympic trials for the games at Nagano. And
really?
I was on the side of a mountain in Utah covering the Olympic bobsled trials. It was a long trip to get there, and then just seeing them run and start, and that's it.
Oh, that's right, because you're up on top.
I'm up on top,
yeah.
Right? And so they usually would go 3 runs. So the next time, I hurried down to the bottom of the run so I can get them finishing and the reaction and all of that. It was fun to cover, but that was frustrating as a journalist.
What if discipline wasn't about punishment, but about unlocking your best self? I spent 2.5 years writing Discipline for Greatness because discipline changed my life. And I know it can change yours too. This isn't theory. Inside, you'll find real, practical steps you can use immediately to focus better, build stronger habits, reduce stress, accomplish your goals, and bring more balance to your life. Whether you're trying to get healthier, improve your career, or simply feel more control, this book gives you the framework. Start today. Grab your copy of Discipline for Greatness at joeypinz.com/book. Thank you. You mentioned just how big they were. I got the opportunity to go to a Jets camp. My God, JD, it's like another race of humans. Everybody is 6'8", 6'9", 300 plus pounds, running fast. I mean, it's incredible.
It is incredible.
Because you see them on TV, they're all the same.
Yeah, you're like, oh, they're not that big. They're not, I mean, you see Ben Roethlisberger, the guy's a giant,
yes,
right?
He is.
The one interesting story, I was covering the Vikings against Detroit. You can be talking about sports, I can go forever, my friend. But I was covering the Vikings hosting Detroit, and I'm on the sidelines, and you know how you can feel a presence?
Right.
Somebody's standing right behind you. And I felt that, and I turn around, and I'm not a short guy.
No, you're not.
I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
And I turn around, and I look up, and it's Kevin Garnett. And he just kind of looks down at me, D-Force, what's up, dog? I'm like, oh, my goodness. Hey, arm up in the air. Great to meet you. Nicest guy in the world.
Really?
But they listed him at like 6'8", 6'9", maybe, just because he played all 5 positions at times. The dude was 7'1".
Was he really?
He's a big guy.
What a talent.
Yeah.
What a talent. We're here at the Cybersecurity event here in Tampa, Florida. You're hosting it. Did a great job all day hosting. How do you get all this energy?
I have no idea. No, because it's fun. You feed off the crowd.
Yeah, you do.
And we had a great crowd here, and I don't know what our final numbers of what it was, but I think we had something like 700 people registered for this, and to feel that crowd, people are hungry for information about cybersecurity. And I always start out my sessions, over the last year, and I'll amend it for this year. But I walk up on stage, and you can tell people are kind of excited, I sit down and I tell everybody, take a deep breath with me. Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. Welcome to this cybersecurity therapy session. Because it's therapy, because the person sitting next to you is going through the same troubles and trials.
Right.
And I encourage people to connect, and that's the most important thing about these events. We're going to have amazing speakers. We have some of the best in the business that come and speak. We're going to have awesome vendors and partners, and they're so vital to what we do. But it's those connections you make. You're going to learn a lot, but those connections you're going to carry with you beyond. We do these all over the place, right? We do 42 live official cybersecurity summits.
Amazing.
I always say we're in every NFL city except Green Bay, because nobody needs to go to Green Bay. But we're in all of these cities, and into Canada, into Toronto, and Vancouver, and they're fantastic ways for people to get knowledge that they may not have, right? At the beginning of the event, I always tell people, raise your hand if somebody in your organization has mentioned the letters AI today. Every hand goes up. I also say, raise your hand if you're fully staffed. Usually one person raises their hand, and I pick on that guy the rest of the day, right? I'm like, he figured it out. But listen, there's so much we can learn as the job gets harder and harder. The average tenure of a CISO is under 18 months now.
Wow.
And so these leaders that are coming in are inheriting challenging software and tech stacks. And how do we do that? These wonderful vendors we have can solve that. But there's so much to learn at these. And this is part, these official cybersecurity summits are part of just the larger ecosystem that we have at Cyber Risk Alliance, right? We have our Cyber Risk Collaborative, which is in most major cities, and we've got these intimate group of top CISOs that come to these leadership exchanges and these CISO dinners, it's more than a dinner. It's an experience that they can have. On top of our large events like Identiverse, that's coming up in June, which I think it's like 5,000 people will be in Vegas for a week for Identiverse.
Wow.
It is a fantastic event. We've got InfoSec World as well, which is another huge event in Orlando. We'll have like 2,500, 3,000 people at InfoSec World, MSSP Alert Live. A lot of people don't realize this is all part of the Cyber Risk Alliance. Not to mention, we have our Connect division, which is Channel Pros, Launch Tech. We have so much. We always talk about being the largest platform, educational platform for cybersecurity professionals in North America.
Wow.
And we truly are, because the daily reports, the toolkits that you can get through Cyber Risk Alliance, and just the assistance. We have in-house CISOs that can sit down and map out and solve your problems, work with you in our accelerator and membership program. It's amazing, the reach. So this being a key cog, the largest regional events for cybersecurity professionals, like we're here today at the official Cybersecurity Summit in Tampa, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I travel to almost all of them, so I get to meet people on the ground. What are your challenges? What are you dealing with? That shapes the content we put together to make sure it's the right things.
What excites you about cybersecurity?
That's a great question. And I've been in technology ever since I left television. For the most part, I led marketing for Comcast and was their global spokesperson, leading their ad tech division for about 8 years. So I was that talking head you'd see on CNBC or Fox Business or whatever, talking about advertising trends, in our software and technology taught us that. I've been in technology for a long time. And to see the growth and importance of cybersecurity is amazing, because listen, 5-10 years ago, we'd be sitting here, and how many in the room were a CISO? It didn't really exist. It was under the CIO, the CTO. Sometimes it would fold up to the finance department. Now it's got a seat at the table, a place, and it's so important with what we're dealing with AI. I wrote a book about AI that came out last year.
Did you?
I did. Ringmaster of AI, where it's a compilation of interviews from AI leaders in cybersecurity, IT, marketing, finance. I had venture capitalists on there talking about the direction of AI. What AI is going to do for cybersecurity, I hate to say it, is create even more headaches, even more challenges, because the attack vectors have grown exponentially. to me, being part and involved in an area, in an industry with such growth, and it's not going to slow down. Cybersecurity will never be smaller than it is today.
Wow, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. JD, is there a question you wish more people would ask you?
Whew. Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I have a unique career, as we talked about, from television. I got my graduate in bank marketing and management.
Wow.
But you know, it's an interesting path. But here's the interesting thing is, and I do a podcast myself, a couple of them, One C Level Up, where we talk about leadership, is just the importance of being an empathetic leader. I think that's important for this crowd. It's important for every crowd because it shapes young professionals. You know, if we can all remember back to that T-ball coach that was just a jerk to us, and it may soured us on T-ball or baseball, right? Or that wrestling coach that was just mean and I didn't want to do wrestling anymore type of thing. It's no different in the professional ranks. People don't leave bad jobs, they leave bad managers, right? So what can we do as leaders to be better managers, to be better leaders? I do something that's a little bit controversial, and I've got flack for this for years from people in my organization. I would tell my teams, I want you here, I want you to have fun with what you're doing. If you're not having fun, it's not worth doing.
Right.
But I also, if you're not happy, I'll help you find something that's going to make you happy.
Right.
Put me as a reference. I'll help you find your next gig if it's not this one. Because to me, it's not about the position. It's never been about the position.
Right.
It's about the person. And if you support the person, they're going to succeed with you, hopefully. But if it's not with you, that's okay. That's okay. But to have a mindset as a leader, to be focused on an individual instead of KPIs and goals, the KPIs and goals are going to come, right? It's kind of like when people say, listen, you find something you love doing, you'll find a way to get paid for it. It's true, though. It's true. You got to have the patience. You have to have the guts to do it. But, you know, for this to be a leader, to be empathetic for your teams is extremely important.
JD, is there something you believed in, firmly believed, foundationally believed in 10 years ago that you no longer believe now?
Oh, there's a ton I believed in. I've got two kids at home. I've got an 8th grader who's 14, an 11-year-old who's in 6th grade. And I thought I had it all figured out 10 years ago when I had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. I was wrong, right? You know, something that I believe in is taking time. And I didn't believe in this before. I believe you work hard, you play hard, you're 100% driven in. It's important to find time to be still. We don't do that as leaders and professionals and executives enough. Finding time to be still, to be with your thoughts, to let your thoughts come and go. I don't do meditation. I wish I would do meditation. But to me, that's important because I find myself going, I'm overwhelmed. We all get stressed, no matter what it is in our life, at home or at work, to take a moment and just be still. I wish I would have known that 10 years ago. I'm glad I know that in my 50s.
Started my MSP in the 90s, JD, and I was working, starting a new business. I was in my 20s. I'm 14, 16-hour days. You're no stranger to that.
Yep.
And putting my health in the back seat, right? And next thing I know, I'm in front of the doctor. She tells me I'm at 340 pounds. So I had gained, terrible. I knew I was getting big. I didn't know I was that big. She says to me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born.
Wow.
Yeah. Driving home, punching the steering wheel. It didn't motivate me. It angered me, right? Because I can abuse myself all I want, but I've got this family now.
They're looking to you. They're looking to you.
Exactly. It's much bigger than me. Spent the next 6-7 months, lost about 120 pounds, 130 pounds, and kept it off. You can't look at these things.
You look amazing, my friend.
I appreciate that. You can't look at these things as finishing lines, right? These are lifelong changes. So when I tell people this, they always say, what's your secret, what you do? I say, there's no secret, discipline.
Yep.
Right? Routine, focus, willpower. How does discipline play a role in your life?
It plays a huge role in my life. Everybody's got unique journeys, but Work will always be there. I'm very disciplined. When I'm not on the road, and I'm on the road a lot running these events, but when I'm not on the road, I do all the meal planning. I make all the food for my family. My wife's a way better cook than I am. But I do that because when I'm on the road, I'm not able to be present to be able to do that. So I have the discipline. I have an app where I can order the groceries, plan all the meals when I'm not even there, right? So that's important to me. And then just sitting back and going, what matters the most? So when I was in television, I worked at a station called KIMT. And we're famous for something that's horrific in that when I was there, I had a coworker who was abducted. Jody Husentrude is her name. And you can see documentaries on her. There's a great documentary on Hulu about her that came out in 2025. But talk about putting things into perspective. Not only were we dealing with this tragedy, we don't know what happened. Right. And to this day, they still haven't found Jody.
Oh, no.
We had to deliver the news about it every night, right? It puts things in perspective. And it's one of those things that people talk about their days. And I'm like, there's no such thing as a bad day.
Right.
You can have trying moments during the day, and you can have struggles during the day. There is no such thing as a bad day. We had, at Cyber Risk Alliance, we had the most amazing woman, Chris Tanaka. And Chris passed away over Christmas this year. And we talked about her earlier. You couldn't find a better human.
Wonderful.
A nicer human.
Yeah.
I think about her all the time, every day. And I only really worked with Chris for a year.
Wow.
We talked every day. But those put things into perspective. So what you did when you said, I can't live like this. I need to be there for my family. And that was motivation and discipline that you needed.
Sure.
Seeing what happened with Jody, what happened with Chris, going, listen, we're my wife and I joke, making the donuts,
right,
like the old Dunkin' Donuts
yeah.
thing. We're making the donuts. But it's important what we all do. But you need to look and see what is truly important to you as well. It's truly important for me to educate cybersecurity leaders of the future and to bring people together. It's more important to me to be there for my family, to be there present, whether I'm miles away or I'm home. It puts it all in perspective. And it changes who you are as a leader. It really does.
It does, yeah. What motivates you, JD?
I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And it's the broadcaster in me, right? You want the ratings, you want the key ratings, you want everybody to love you. I am a people pleaser. That does motivate me, probably not in a great way. But it does. But what also motivates me is what I see out of things I do with my kids, what I do with my teams, and to see them grow. I want to see them grow, right? And I tell everybody, this is not the last, my staff, this is not the last job you'll ever have. And that's okay. To see them succeed is absolutely, I'm like a proud papa.
So given that motivation, how do you measure success?
That's a great question. We've all had that job in our life where we look in the mirror and we're like, am I proud of who I do this work for? Am I proud of what I'm doing? Would my kids be proud of me? If the answer to any of that is no, then you're doing the wrong thing. Do something different. So to me, measuring success is going, I did a good job. And listen, doing a good job for an organization may mean building awesome programs. It could be bringing the company money, but I did my job. And with my team, and again, it's sports, right? Always sports analogies for me. But I'm helping my team. I'm supporting my teams. I can look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of who I am and what I'm doing professionally and personally. That's my measure of success. If I look in the mirror and I'm not happy with, I'm like, I need to change something. There was a great, and I forgot who used to do this. John Acuff, if you're familiar with John Acuff, he is kind of a motivational person when it comes to business. He would always, and I recommend reading his books. They're a fantastic read, John Acuff. But he always would talk about his his journey. And one of the things, advice he got is quit something every week. And it sounds weird. And so John was always like, I quit something. I think every Wednesday I quit something. It could be something small. I quit, eating sugar. I quit, or it could be something, I quit my job type of thing. So I did that for a while, and I want to do that again. Every Thursday I'm going to quit something. Like a show I've been watching for 5 years, and it's just not that entertaining anymore. I'm going to quit that show. But every Thursday you find something to quit. It's very freeing. It really is very freeing to be able to say, I'm quitting something, but it gives you power over sometimes your life seems out of control. But if I can quit something, I'm going to quit TikTok, let's say. I can never do that because the number of reels and TikToks I get from friends and family. But it's kind of a freeing thing. It's kind of unique.
Want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypinz.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it. You're an anchor, you're on stage a lot. How do you silence the haters?
I'm old.
No, you're not.
No, but I just don't. I listen. I'm one of those guys. I'd read a review and it'd eat at me. I could have 100 people at an event go, "That was a great event," but the one person who said that sucked or I hated that, like that would eat at me. And I've worked hard to be like, okay, that's 1 out of 100.
Right.
I'm going to get those people. Listen, I'm not everybody's flavor, and that's okay. It really is. It's hard to silence those things. But for me, it's knowing, okay, I had a hater in Vancouver. Well, my next event's in San Diego, and I might have everybody love me there, and that's fantastic, too. And listen, I got as big of an ego as anybody else on stage, probably bigger. But it helps silence going, listen, there's the next one.
Right.
It's always the next game. I couldn't tell you of all the athletic, and I played football, basketball, track in high school. I ran track and did football in college. I couldn't tell you any individual meet. I couldn't tell you about any individual game or score. But I can tell you about my teams in the locker room. That's all I remember. I do remember some success here and there. But so you focus on what's important.
Heard this great metaphor recently where the crow is the only bird that will attack an eagle. So it'll fly on the back of an eagle and start pecking at it. Now the eagle won't shake it off or anything. It'll simply keep rising up, and it knows at a certain altitude the crow can't handle it and it'll just wither and fall off.
Yep.
So when the world's pecking at you, just continue to rise.
Yeah, I think that's a great analogy. And that's what you have to do, right? There's always the next thing. Right now, I oversee about 237 events.
Wow.
At Cybersecurity Alliance, and there's always going to be the next event.
Yeah.
And so, the old TV show West Wing, I loved that show,
sure.
and still do to this day. Jed Bartlett in it would always say, "What's next?" And that's my approach. What's next?
What's next? I thank you so much for your time, JD. Anybody listening, watching, they want to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
I am a LinkedIn freak.
Yeah.
I love LinkedIn. JD Miller. There's a few of us, but I put a ton of content out there every week. Best way to reach me is through LinkedIn.
JD, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information. The video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Disciplined Conversations.